Long, long ago, there was a water nymph named Clytie, who lived in a cave at the bottom of the sea. The walls of the cave were covered with pearls and lovely pink seashells. The floor was made of snow-white sand, and the chairs were of coral with soft moss cushions. Behind the cave were Clytie's gardens. Here she spent hours taking care of her sea ferns, her star lilies, and rare types of seaweed. Clytie kept her favorite horses in the grotto. These were the swift darting goldfish and the slow-moving turtles. For a long time she was happy and contented. Other sea nymphs loved Clytie and wove her dresses of green sea lace. One day they took her to hear a mermaid sing. Clytie liked best the song that told of a glorious light that shone on top of the water. She longed day and night to see this wonderful light, but no ocean nymph dared to take her to it. Soon she grew very unhappy, and to escape the nymphs begging her to forget the light, she spent more and more time in her shell carriage, pulled by the turtles riding far from her cave. She would doze off and dream of the glorious light the mermaid had called the sun. Late one summer night, when the sea was warm and the turtles were going slowly, Clytie fell asleep. Unguided, the turtles went on and on, up and up, through the green water until they came to a wooded island. As the waves dashed the carriage on the rocks, Clytie awoke, and filled with wonder, she climbed out on a rock. It was early dawn, and the waking world was beautiful. Clytie had never seen trees and flowers and birds. Suddenly the eastern sky blazed with light. Great purple curtains lifted, and slowly a great ball of fire appeared, dazzling her eyes. In the middle of the light was a golden chariot, drawn by 4 fiery horses, and in it sat a smiling king with 7 rays of light for a crown. Clytie sat and watched him all day with love in her heart, and when the chariot disappeared in the west, she wept. The next day she gazed lovingly at the king again, but she had no hope he would even notice her, and so it went on for 9 days. On the 10th morning, when she leaned over the water, she was amazed, for instead of her own face, a beautiful flower looked up at her from the sea, and at length she knew the truth. Her yellow hair had become golden petals, her green dress had turned into leaves and stems, and her little feet had become roots which fastened her to the ground. Then she lifted her face to the sun, and it was so radiant with happiness that the great king himself smiled back at her. So Clytie began her life on earth, and she raised a large family. Her children are called sunflowers, and you will find them all over the world. And if you care to, you may find out for yourselves whether or not it is true that all the sunflowers in the world turn upon their stalks from sunrise until sunset, so that they may always keep their faces toward the sun.